A man's ability to retain is his greatest gift. Retention gives a man complete control over his desires and the ability to use his life force productively. He can then channel this discipline and energy towards meaningful pursuits. This differs from women. Their life force comes and goes on a monthly, periodic basis. In general, this makes them more consistent than men. They have a constant supply of life force that they can't drain, even if they try. They can't release their life force 2, 3, or 4 times a day like some men do. It's also why you generally see girls succeed over boys in high school, college, and in the workforce. They're typically more ambitious, consistent, and hard workers. They have a solid foundation of life force that they can't deplete themselves. However, whether they want to or not, they must release this life force on a monthly period. Only men are capable of retaining for months or years on end. Only a man can build a truly great empire for himself after years and years of disciplined, focused effort. A woman has to release her life force every month, whereas a man has the choice to retain. In sum, men have a higher ceiling, whereas women have a higher floor. This higher ceiling comes at the expense of a lower floor. The choice to retain is both a man's greatest strength and his biggest downfall. Many young men nowadays are oblivious to this crucial decision they face on a daily basis. They don't understand that retention is literally the difference between success and failure in life. As expected, young men obey their biological nature as it instinctively feels the best. They release because it provides the most pleasure and because society has programmed them into thinking it's a normal, healthy habit. This is a modern-day, young man's downfall. I know for a long period of my life it was my own undoing. Young men are never given the option to choose between retention and releasing because in his mind the option to retain simply doesn't exist. He only knows to release. The poor boy can't make an informed decision because he doesn't know the risks and rewards of either path he is given in life. I generally don't like to blame anyone, but I blame mainstream media and the internet for this. They have completely normalized the act of masturbation, making it more and more difficult for young men to see that retention is even an option for them. They have made adult videos and suggestive social media too accessible and extremely addictive. But I digress. As you'll hear me repeat frequently on this channel, a high-value man is defined by his options. And every man has the option to retain or release. This is the single choice men have that ultimately defines all others. It's the pinnacle high-value choice. Prioritizing yourself over your animal instincts is the ultimate act of self-love. It shows you're not willing to put anything else over your goals, not even Mother Nature. This right here is a man's strongest weapon. The fact he has the ability to exercise his free will to make the world his own. I will also reiterate that this choice can also be his downfall. Failure to recognize the choice he's given, to retain or to release, is a complete act of ignorance. It would mean not understanding the fundamentals of delayed gratification. It would mean rewiring the brain to prioritize short-term pleasures. This sets up men for a self-prophesied path of unfulfilled desires. It ensures any goal remains unaccomplished and eventually, forgotten. The path of a releaser inevitably ends in regret. This is a man's greatest downfall. The fact that a man's future remains inexplicably bleak if he chooses the life of a releaser. This choice all men must make ends up defining our lives. It asks us whether we will control our desires to achieve our goals, or prioritize our pleasures over aspirations. The fact we have this choice is our strongest weapon. But failure to choose wisely can make it our greatest downfall.